Welcome to the Find the Cause Breast Cancer Foundation's annual celebration and auction. I'm Shayna Seymour, co-anchor of Chronicle on WCVB TV5. I'm thrilled to host this 20th annual event honoring Trisha Wynn. Find the Cause is dedicated to the science of breast cancer prevention, different from early detection of an existing tumor through mammography or imaging. Find the Cause focuses on stopping cancer before it forms, and that's an important distinction. Prevention is much less expensive than the cost of treating cancer. The world still spends 90% of cancer research money on treatments. That is important, but it means less than 10% of cancer funding goes towards prevention. Find the Cause looks at it from another angle and asks, what if we could prevent some cancers from occurring? How great would that be? Find the Cause has two main goals. The first is to fund scientific research to discover ways to prevent breast cancer. And the second is to educate the public about the causes of breast cancers. Your support helps Find the Cause in its mission to change our understanding of why many individuals with no family history of cancer or genetic indicators end up battling this disease. David Shear is a Harvard, Cornell, and Brandeis-trained doctor, scientist, researcher, and professor who believes that most cancers are caused by extrinsic factors and therefore could be prevented or intercepted with a variety of scientifically validated methods. He is the director of the Find the Cause Research Consortium for scientists who work to find the environmental causes of cancer, stop the production of environmental carcinogens, and discover ways to intercept cancers before it starts. Let's hear from Dr. David Shear to share a little bit about the work that is funded by Find the Cause.
Thanks very much for that introduction. Let me take a second to explain our objectives and why we have a consortium of cancer scientists working towards common goals. Most of you watching this will know of many government and private organizations trying to fund cures for cancer. That's great. I'm all for that stuff. But the Find the Cause Breast Cancer Foundation, for all intents and purposes, is the only private organization wholly dedicated to finding ways to prevent cancer. Our singular goal is to make as many leaps forward in prevention as is humanly possible, as quickly as possible. Now, more specifically, we have four main objectives in the Find the Cause Foundation. First, we want to educate you, the public, about the environmental causes of breast cancer and other cancers, and to help inform you of the ways in which you can take action to reduce your cancer risk. Second of all, we're trying to identify what environmental chemical exposures are contributing to human cancer. The EPA has registered over 86,000 chemicals in commercial use. Only a small percentage, somewhere around 3%, have ever been rigorously tested to determine if they can cause cancer. Almost none have been studied for their ability to make less aggressive benign cancers into killers. You may have heard of the forever chemicals known collectively as PFAS. There are probably 1,000 of those. They're only a drop in the bucket of the 86,000 chemicals that are out there in our environment. Third, we are developing technologies that help us to identify molecular changes that are harbingers of cancer development. I'm not talking about more and more expensive systems that can image early cancers, although that certainly is important. I'm talking about detection of subtle changes in blood chemistry that occur even before anything can be imaged. And fourth, we're studying how these precancers work so that we can develop interventions that can intercept the cancers before they happen. Now, here's why we're compelled to do this scientific work. About 9.5 million people worldwide die each year from cancer. We all know someone who has been diagnosed. For many of us, that's us. The World Health Organization estimates that the number of people diagnosed with cancer will double in the next 10 years. And the incidence of several cancers is going up, including breast cancer, alarmingly, especially in people under 40 years old. So something new is going on. We can't treat our way out of this, and we don't have to. The best estimates from many scientists is that somewhere between 65 and 95% of all cancers are caused by environmental factors. This means that cancers are preventable. Now, you've probably all heard the saying from Ben Franklin, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. Ironically, almost 300 years later, the world still spends around 90% of cancer research funding on treatments, not prevention. Find the Cause is trying to rebalance the scales a little. Prevention not only saves lives, as in you don't die, but it also saves the lives you lead. Prevention is doable. So with your help, let's just get it done.
Thank you, David. We look forward to hearing more about the incredible work done in your labs. But first, we should think about what motivates us to find the cause. It's the people going through breast cancer and their loved ones. And so I would like to welcome the family of honoree Trisha Wynn.
Hi, Trish. Hi, everyone. Tom here, and I'm honored to be able to honor my beautiful wife and all her accomplishments and kind of talk about her journey through breast cancer, which really is her journey. But, when I heard that, Trish was diagnosed with breast cancer, it was probably one of the biggest gut punches I've ever had, because she's so important to myself. She's so important to our kids. And just the thought that, that could be not with us forever was really scary. But the beauty of Trish and the beauty of everything she does is that she didn't make it scary for anyone. She was probably scared herself, but, she didn't let it bother her. And she turned her energy and her focus into helping others. Even when she was going through treatment, she never let it bother her. She came home talking more about the struggles that other people were having that were going through diagnosis and through treatments. And then she turned her energy even to running a Boston Marathon to say that, she's stronger than cancer. And I think it truly gives us inspiration. It gives me energy every day. It gives our kids energy. And I think it gives everyone in this room that was watching this video kind of hope and excitement that someday there will be a cure for cancer, or at least a prevention. And I think that's what, your main focus is, and what you really care about, Trish. And that's what we love about you, is that you care about helping others. You care about finding the root causes of cancer. You care about health and wellness, and you really care about other people. So you are truly deserving of this honor tonight. We love you, and we're so proud that you are involved with Find the Cause and helping others in your mission in life. Love you.
Hi, Mom. I just want to say congratulations and that I love you. I'm so proud of you. You're such an inspiration to our whole family and all of our friends. The only thing I can think of whenever I'm going through a hard time is how you kicked breast cancer's butt and then proceeded to run the Boston Marathon a couple months after. You're truly an inspiration to us all, and we all love you and appreciate you so much. Congrats again. Love you.
Congratulations, Mom. This is such a well-deserved recognition and honor, and I'm so excited that so many people can see the amazing work that you do day in and day out, and how much of your life that you commit to finding a cause. You have already impacted so many people and so many young women, especially in my life and especially me. I could not have asked for a better role model to have as a mother. And I hope that you continue to do this and spread the word. And I know that you've inspired me to do so. And I know that is so important to Find the Cause, is to spread awareness, especially to young women. So congratulations. I hope you feel all of the love today, and we will continue to celebrate you. Love you.
I couldn't be more proud of my mom. As it does to all, our family was shocked when we heard the news over 3 years ago. But she never let us worry and kept attention on her kids, husband throughout. She never wavered through treatment and was always there to talk about the last exam that I failed or where I should take my girlfriend for dinner. She is truly an inspiration, and I couldn't have been more impressed to see her dominate the Boston Marathon a year following remission. It is a testament to her willingness to take on a challenge and never quit. Although I don't have the running gene, I hope to continue the mission of finding the cause in my personal and professional life by spreading awareness. Her message has resonated across hundreds of people, and this is just the start. Love you, Mom.
Wow, what a beautiful family. The words shared by Trisha's family members underscore the importance of the work of Find the Cause, to find the cause of one of our greatest health challenges, breast cancer. You are helping to fund the science by participating in our silent auction or by making a straight donation on this website. We recently sat down with the event co-chairs, Drew and Michael Lindgren. They spoke about why they're so passionate about Find the Cause.
I learned about Find the Cause after I was diagnosed with breast cancer for the second time. And I learned the statistic that 90% of all those diagnosed with breast cancer have no family history. And that shocked me because I have no family history. So I met the founder of Find the Cause through a friend, and the mission just really resonated with me.
I think for me, the science drew me in to listen to and be at the consortium meetings and to hear the progress that was being made. And interestingly, whatever 5-6 years ago, David Shearer would be talking about, well, it's going to be 25 years from now before we see results. And I will tell you today, and just being a part of this, now he's saying, I think we can get there in a year or two. And that is to really make big discoveries in terms of why we get cancers.
Find the Cause gets to the root of the problem. I am grateful every day for the treatment that I received. I believe in funding that research on treatment. We need to attack this problem before it starts.
I mean, this is the track that seems to be the right track for prevention. Before you get it, find out what's going on in your body and either intervene to say, let's stop it, or generationally say, don't put that chemical into your body.
Well, one thing that I can tell you is that the scientists we fund are the most inspiring people I've ever encountered in my entire life. They have devoted their lives to finding out what causes cancer.
The money that we're raising, the money that we're giving to the consortium is truly seed money. And to be clear, we literally don't tell the scientists what to do with it. We know what they're doing with it. We know that they're actually putting it to incredible use, but it allows them to wipe the slate clean on their bench and tinker with whatever nuance they want with regard to experimentation, finding out these root causes. But the dollar that we give, the $100,000 that we give, they end up making these discoveries with, is the seed money to then take that and get grants. They couldn't do it without the money that we said that's unrestricted. So it's critical in terms of our funding to allow them to do this type of novel approach. The world is filled with money that's going after pharmaceutical answers to treatment and cure. As far as we know, we are completely unique in our approach, which is truly go after what's causing the cancer so that you don't have to be treated or cured.
We don't have to accept this. We don't have to accept that 1 in 8 women are going to get cancer. We have a right to products in our world here in the US that are safe. We have a right to a healthy future for future generations. This is our right. This is our right to look for the answers to this, to find the solutions. And that's what we're doing.
Thank you, Drew and Michael, for sharing. Your support and efforts are deeply appreciated. Drew and Michael aren't doing this work alone. Event co-chairs Carla Cuccinati and Rick Griffin are huge proponents of corporate giving and have worked diligently on behalf of the organization. Let's see what they have to say.
Rick and I both have maternal grandmothers, or had maternal grandmothers who had breast cancer. Both of our mothers in the past 8 years had been diagnosed with breast cancer. So it is something we are familiar with. It's been in our families. And we just felt like if we can gain some knowledge about what in our environment may be causing this. And we have 2 daughters also, and it just seemed right. It just seemed like the right cause.
It was really through Michael Lindgren, to be honest with you. Trish Kelly, who's now passed away. It's my partner's wife. She came down with breast cancer, and through sort of her illness, Drew Lindgren reached out to her, and then we actually became more aware of Find the Cause and became involved with Find the Cause at that point. Yeah, I mean, I think the approach is unique to other groups that are either trying to find a cure for cancer. I think their approach of like looking at the causes and trying to stop it before it starts. And the work that the different scientists are doing, amazing, approaching it in different angles. I think that's getting it behind, that cause. And honestly, the building momentum with, donations helps fund not only, the research, but also helps them gain grants and make progress. A lot of those grants don't come unless you actually have, progress. So it's like kind of a chicken and egg thing for them. And, I think the amazing work that Find the Cause has been able to do over the past few years to kind of keep building that momentum is awesome.
Yeah, the information that they didn't think that they would have for years, it's coming in now. And that's really impressive. I mean, and the fact that we can utilize that information, make the right choices in what we're feeding our kids or what we're using in our household. I mean, to have that information now is incredible.
Well, I think for corporations, I think the benefit is, and I'll give you an example. Drew Lindgren came to our office via Zoom and did a presentation to the whole office. And, just that general awareness for the people in our office, you could see it was an eye opener. And there's a lot of questions. I think for corporations, I think it's protecting their people, right? I think that's the biggest thing, and keeping people safe. Having us have annual updates on what the scientists are working on, the discoveries they're making, I think that, for us will be continually important.
Everybody knows someone who has had breast cancer or has breast cancer. And many of my friends have children. It's important for me to impart my information so that my friends can protect their daughters and our futures.
This is why RJ Kelly is so interested and will continue to invest and Find the Cause and prevention, because we think it's paramount that we need to invest and fund for future advancement.
Thank you, Carla and Rick. You lead by example, and we are so grateful to have RJ Kelly as a platinum sponsor. Along with their support, we would also like to thank Monashi and Trisha and Tom Wynn. We could not do this important work without your support and that of many other generous donors. Find the Cause asks, what are the environmental factors causing cancer? And then shares the information with both the medical community and the public to reduce the number of people diagnosed with cancer. This work is based right here in Boston with a consortium of 4 world-renowned research scientists, each focused on a different piece of the puzzle and funded by Find the Cause. Discoveries made in their labs move us closer to learning how to prevent cancer before it starts. Let's take a minute and hear what Find the Cause Executive Director Caitlin Mosier-Ellis has to say. Caitlin?
Thank you. This is an exciting time for Find the Cause. Last year, for the second year in a row, we were able to grant over $500,000 to the Find the Cause consortium of researchers. That unrestricted funding is yielding incredible breakthroughs in the race to prevention. All of this wouldn't be possible without sponsors, supporters, and volunteer leadership that are accelerating the science. Our educational webinars and social media platforms provide such valuable information that you can use to make small changes in your everyday life. I encourage you to engage with us, follow us on social media, sign up for a webinar. When I first came to Find the Cause, I was drawn to the excellent and compelling science that was being done. I had no history of breast cancer, and I actually knew very few people that were going through it. Then last year, like so many other women, after a routine mammogram, I became the 1 in 8. I was diagnosed with an invasive form of cancer, and I had a long road ahead of me. And like so many other women, when you get to talking about this, there's treatments, there's surgeries, there's medicines, there's more treatments. And you go from what's next to this fear of what if? And we're all afraid this is going to come back. And that's why, for me, it's really personal that we work hard in prevention to find the cause. And I'm so grateful for your support.
Thank you, Caitlin, for the Find the Cause update and for sharing your personal journey with breast cancer. I know all of us support your courage and continued efforts to understand why, if 90% of women diagnosed with breast cancer have no prior family history, then where is this coming from? This is why we need the research. What powers this important work are the contributions by and support from all of you. Please contribute by participating in our silent auction or by making a donation on this website. Now let's talk about the science. David?
Over the last 20 years, our understanding of cancer has accelerated at just stupefying rates. Major advances in molecular biology, computer science, including AI, have advanced so quickly that no one lab can stay apace. Can't do that anymore. The only way to get the job done is through team science, and that's what the 4 scientists in the Find the Cause Consortium are all about. So now we'd like to give you the 50,000-foot view of what we do and the kind of progress we've made in the Science Consortium in the last year or so. So I'll start with my quarter of the puzzle. So my lab believes that the immune system is a key to defeating cancer. And the one thing that all types of cancers have in common is their ability to beat the immune system eventually. If we can fix that, we can prevent virtually any type of cancer. The immune system is the one biological system flexible enough to adapt to cancers as they arise and as they mutate. In fact, your immune system probably has already saved you from getting cancer by killing precancers you didn't even know you had. My lab is working with Gail, Charlotte, and Stefano to understand these immune responses and find ways to boost it. Now, as you can see on the first slide, the immune system is constantly protecting you against cancers that can be birthed anywhere in your body and that occur more and more frequently as you age. But most of the time, the immune system wins these battles, and you never know that you had cancer. But cancers are clever. As they emerge, some cancers produce compounds that completely shut down the immune system. Indeed, many of these cutting-edge immunotherapies that you've heard so much about lately target these immunosuppressive factors. They're really important. Through an unfortunate twist of fate, however, many man-made pollutants mimic these natural suppressive compounds and protect the emerging precancers from immune attack. In addition, many of the pollutants can simultaneously drive normal cells to become cancers and for relatively benign cells or cancers to become crazy, aggressive metastatic killers. So it's kind of a double whammy. Pollutants can initiate cancer while suppressing the one biologic system that can beat virtually all cancers. There's a simple formula for the risk of this happening to you. The greater your exposure to these pollutants, the greater the risk. Now, what my corner of the Find the Cause Consortium has done in the last couple of years is to work out ways to boost the immune system for cancer immunoprevention. We've identified receptors that both the cancer-derived compounds and environmental chemicals use to suppress immunity. From there, we synthesize non-toxic drugs that blind the receptor to these immunosuppressive chemicals, therefore boosting immunity and in some cancer models, completely preventing cancer. I would like to emphasize that what we think are very important advances were possible only because funds from Find the Cause have allowed us to take chances, to do some very high-risk, high-return experiments, the kinds of experiments that are unlikely to be supported by, for example, the NIH. Now, even if we have discovered strategies for blocking the acute effects of pollutants and precancer-generated immunosuppressants, we still have to know exactly when to initiate the interception. When do we actually begin to interrupt the process? That's where Gail and Charlotte come in with technologies to estimate carcinogen exposure and to predict when something bad is about to happen. Gail, why don't you explain your part of the puzzle here?
Thank you, David. My lab is developing a rapid test to determine whether a person has been exposed to unsafe levels of an environmental carcinogen, which can cause cancer. And we're looking specifically at a family of small signaling molecules called microRNAs. Now, in your body, there are thousands of microRNAs, and their role is to control normal function, normal processes in your body. And these are messengers that are made in one tissue, and they can go to another tissue via the bloodstream, and they profoundly change and regulate this host tissue. Unfortunately, when we're exposed to carcinogens, they cause abnormal microRNA production. And this abnormal microRNA production can lead to either the induction of a gene that will promote the cancer or the inhibition of a gene that would have reduced the cancer. And that can happen in your breast tissue. And that's how this carcinogen is working, how it works to convert your normal tissue to a cancer. So we're using 3 approaches that identify the changes, and I'm going to focus on just one, which is a mouse model that will allow us to see what changes are happening as a result of carcinogen exposure. And this experiment is being done in collaboration with David. So the concept is simple. We are attempting to mimic in the mouse the process that happens when a woman is exposed to an environmental carcinogen. The complex of the carcinogen and its receptor will activate abnormal microRNA expression, and we're able to monitor that in the laboratory by looking at what is in the tissue that's been affected and what's in the bloodstream. And these changes that we're detecting happen well before the tumor appears. So we are monitoring changes in the microRNA, and what we have seen is that there is a group of microRNAs that are being induced as a result of the carcinogen treatment that appear well before the tumor appears. And that gives us a window of opportunity, if we can measure these microRNAs or when we measure these microRNAs, to alert a person that she or he has had an unwelcome exposure to an active carcinogen. Now, we're in the process currently of measuring which ones we want to use in our panel for microbiomarker exposure. And in this effort, we're being greatly helped by Stefano, who's helping us sort out using computational techniques to identify the specific panel we're going to use. So this assay can inform a person that they have received a dangerous exposure in a time frame that allows them to either prevent the exposure, to identify what could be the exposure and prevent it, or to intercept it early in the process, well before cancer arises. Thus, the information can affect negatively the impact of progression, allowing time to reverse and stop the cancer. This is the objective of our work, and we are beyond grateful to find the cause and the donors and supporters such as you that are generously providing the funding for these studies. So let me introduce Charlotte, who will show you an amazing video of cells, that mammary glands that are forming before your very eyes in vitro, and the power of this amazing new model to understand how carcinogen exposure and genetics intersect to cause breast cancer.
Thank you, Gail. I wanted to continue on about what she's been referring to. Through the years, my lab has been developing technologies that we can use to understand and study the biology of human breast development and use this to understand the process of cancer formation. One of the things that we've really been focusing on over the years has been identifying which cells in the breast give rise to cancer. But now we've pivoted a little bit away from using animal models and these approaches to studying this and moving now towards tissue engineering, where we can actually create miniature human breast tissues in the lab. By using donor tissue from women that undergo elective surgeries, we can isolate single human breast cells and put them into a specific 3-dimensional gel that enables the cells to divide and actually form a functional human breast. In this video, you can actually see this taking place in real time. A single human breast epithelial cell begins to divide and self-assemble into a small ball of cells. This ball then extends out and forms these long branch-like structures that invade into the gel that are driven by the tips. As the structure keeps growing, the branches get larger and get wider, and there's a lot of cellular trafficking taking place within this structure. At one point, you'll see buds starting to appear at the end of these ducts. These buds get larger, they grow out until the whole tissue begins to mature and form what we refer to in the breast as a terminal ductal lobular unit. You can think of this as a cluster of grapes, where each grape represents a small little ball where the milk is produced, and they're all connected to the stems, which are the ducts. What's really fabulous about this is that we can treat these cultures with hormones and they can produce milk. So we've really been able to successfully recreate mini human breast tissues in the lab. So we're using this technology and this engineered human breast tissue to study the effects of environmental chemicals on not only normal tissue growth in real time to see whether or not there are actually changes in the tissue as it grows, but also to see whether or not there's abnormal growth in response to these chemicals, being potentially precursors to cancer or even potentially overt cancers. We're studying a class of chemicals called endocrine disruptors, including the bisphenols, which you've probably heard of, the BPAs, but also the larger class of forever chemicals. And we're looking to see whether or not exposure to these chemicals affects the tissue formation and also allows it to adopt a more pre-cancer type of tissue. We're also using chemicals that induce DNA damage, like carcinogens found in cigarette smoke, and other DNA damaging agents like irradiation, to see whether or not they can actually cooperate with these chemicals to accelerate the formation of cancer. So an advantage of this approach and this platform and this technology is now we can see what's happening in the tissue in real time in response to these chemicals, something we've been unable to do previously and certainly been unable to do in the context of human tissues. We can now also isolate these cells from these tissues and actually examine at a very molecular and genetic level what effects took place in those cells as a response to those chemicals. By collecting the DNA from these cells and sequencing them, we can look for mutations. We can also look for epigenetic changes that decorate DNA in response to chemicals and see whether or not certain chemicals have different effects on the breast tissue. You can imagine this type of approach, while is very exciting, it generates incredibly huge data sets that need to be interpreted not only to identify the mutations and the specific genes that are being affected, but also in a larger context to understand more molecularly and globally what these effects are having on the cells. And so this is where working with Stefano's lab becomes a real valuable asset to the consortium because of his expertise and the various assays and techniques he has to interpret large-scale data. We'll now be able to identify and ideally find what these exposure fingerprints to these various chemicals look like and overlay that with the actual changes in the biology and the tissue structure we see in the lab.
Thank you, Charlotte. Fascinating work. And indeed, we live in a data-rich age, as we all know, and the ability to extract knowledge from it is becoming essential. And so let me start by giving you a bit of a background here. I studied cancer for decades, but perhaps the work I'm most proud of is what we named the Carcinogenome Project, which was in part made possible by FindTheCause funding. In that project, we combined computational and experimental approaches to develop methods for the identification of new environmental carcinogens. As you've heard, carcinogens are basically cancer-causing chemicals. So the approach that we developed achieved an accuracy of about 80%, which is, it means that it identified a carcinogen correctly about 8 out of 10 times. That's pretty good, but there's of course hope to do better. And in fact, there is a recent study, which in part builds upon our work, but independent of our work, where they applied AI, artificial intelligence methods, to new and larger data sets and achieved an accuracy of above 90%. That is 9 out of 10 times they were correct. And this is amazing progress, and it points to the importance of sowing the seeds that will encourage this type of research, which is clearly prevention research. And for the reasons David alluded to before, we had a much harder time securing federal funding for it. And that is where actually Find the Cause became indispensable, as it helped fill that funding gap. Now, working again together with Dave, Charlotte, and Gail, we're shifting our focus from the identification of harmful chemicals to the detection of exposure to those chemicals in humans. So as you've heard, Dave, Charlotte, and Gail's experiments are helping to identify so-called biomarkers. Basically, these are sentinel molecules, genes, microRNA, as Gail alluded to, epigenetic marks, that are activated in response to exposure. And we want to use these biomarkers to develop computational predictors of exposures in tissue and in blood. And why is this important? Because if we can determine early that a person has been exposed to potentially harmful chemicals, we can, one, try to remove the source of that exposure. Two, we can monitor more carefully the exposed individual for early signs of malignant transformation. And three, we can recruit their own immune system to fight the harmful effects of the exposure. That's what David told you about. So hopefully you can see how the four pieces of the puzzle, that is the Find the Cause Consortium, fit together to better understand how cancer happens, to be able to screen for biological changes that may lead to cancer, and to find ways to intercept cancer before it happens.
Yeah, I agree with all of that 100%. One of the things that comes to mind that really excites me now is what you can see on the video that's just started. It's a visualization of the length of our reach out into the scientific community. And what you're seeing is the institutions and individuals that have cited our work in any given year throughout the whole world. And you can see that we're making an impact pretty much everywhere. So now you all can see why we're more than a little obsessed with finding the cause and preventing cancer. We hope that you, our viewers, are motivated to do what you can do to help find the cause. Not just us, to help you and your kids.
What an incredible exchange of information on the science of prevention. We have certainly heard some compelling reasons to invest in prevention research. Thank you to all of our sponsors, including Cambridge Savings Bank Foundation, Hormel Foods, Drew and Michael Lindgren, PSG, Anne Marie and Jim Ross, and Peter Shockey. You too can invest in a healthier future by bidding in our silent auction or by making a generous donation. Let's bring Board Chair Michael Lindgren back to help honor 2023 Find the Cause Award recipient Tricia Wynn. Tricia is a breast cancer survivor, champion of research, and a member of the board of directors. Please join Michael in recognizing Tricia's commitment to help fund the science and find the cause.
As chairman of the board of Finding the Cause, I am actually thrilled to give this award to Trish Wynn, and I honestly don't believe that there's a better recipient for that. She's such a dedicated board member and advocate. Thank you, Trish.
I am humbled to be honored by Find the Cause. I truly believe, though, the true heroes are our consortium of scientists who work tirelessly towards the mission of prevention. And that's why it's so important to fund their efforts. I was diagnosed with breast cancer in 2017, and it happened to be on December 26th, the day after Christmas. And I went in for a routine mammogram, and they found something. I told my husband right away. I was in a car, and we waited until I got the BRCA gene test, which takes quite a few weeks at the time, and to tell my children, because we didn't know what my form of treatment was going to be. And that was going to be, it was just going to be a lot of questions for my children. And so I needed to have the answers. So we waited a few weeks, and then we told them, and they couldn't have been more supportive. I mean, my kids are everything. Getting a breast cancer diagnosis it's undeniably a very difficult and challenging experience. And I guess you could go about it two different ways. You could let it consume you with fear and doubt and anxiety, or you could use it as a vehicle to create positive change. I'm so honored to be a board member of Find the Cause. It's a team that is incredibly passionate about the prevention of breast cancer and other cancers. Less than 10% of NIH funding goes to prevention. And we spend billions of dollars on the cure, which is so critical. We need to find the cure. However, the science really can't keep up with the amount of people getting cancer. So we need to prevent it. We need to stop it before it starts. And that's what Find the Cause does. And that's why I'm so passionate about it. Find the Cause is very important to me and to my family because it's really changed the trajectory of how we live our lives. We have learned so much about prevention through what we are putting on our bodies, what we're cleaning with, what we're cooking with. And it's just a new way of life. And sometimes it might feel like it is a little overwhelming, but it's like anything. It's just practice of learning new things and applying them. And I thank our team, our consortium, for teaching us about all of these chemicals that we need to eliminate. I'm thankful to be here. I'm thankful to be able to use myself as a platform to educate people and to teach men and women and future generations about prevention so that we create a better world out there.
Congratulations, Tricia. Your tenacity and work on behalf of the Find the Cause mission has not gone unnoticed. And here are some folks who would like to acknowledge that.
Hi, Tricia. This is Whitney Blonde speaking. I'd like to express two important things today. First and foremost, I extend my heartfelt congratulations to you on receiving this well-deserved award. I've had the privilege of witnessing firsthand your tireless dedication to Find the Cause, from the fundraising to the raising of awareness and the gathering of information regarding cancer and its underlying causes. On a similar note, I want to extend a huge thank you to you. Your unwavering commitment and relentless efforts make navigating the challenging terrain of the cancer diagnosis that much more manageable. Your leadership and dedication serve as a beacon of hope and support for all those who find themselves in this difficult journey. Thank you for being the incredible person you are. And again, congratulations on this award and to receive the recognition for all that you have done.
Hey, Tricia. Having been your friend for over 40 years, one of the things I know about you is that when you do something, not only do you throw your heart and soul into it, but most importantly, you do it with creativity, whether it's making a meal, designing a home for your clients, or fundraising, which are only 3 examples of your many talents. And your creativity isn't just a skill. It's a powerful force that touches people's lives and makes us all feel special. Watching you channel that into something as meaningful as finding a cause for breast cancer is something that's been a beautiful thing for all of us to watch. I know that your dedication to this effort is born from your own fight against breast cancer, but I also know that you do this work for the ones that you and we have all lost. And most importantly, for our children, because Find the Cause is all about not getting cancer in the first place. In itself, a creative way to look at the disease, and one of the reasons you believe in the work so deeply. So thank you for your determination and your hard work, because you're guiding us all towards a better, healthier future. I love you.
It is my distinct honor to congratulate the remarkable Tricia Wynn, this year's honoree. Tricia has always been an inspiration to those who have had the privilege of knowing her. She embodies qualities that we all aspire to possess: intelligence, style, dedication, and an unwavering focus on what truly matters in life: her health, her family, and her friendships. Trisha's journey is a testament to her unyielding spirit, and her story serves as a beacon of hope to countless others facing the challenges of breast cancer. What truly sets Trisha apart is her commitment to this organization and its mission. She has poured her heart and soul into the cause because she believes in the transformative power of health. She understands that by supporting breast cancer research, we are not only fighting a disease, but also paving the way for better, healthier lives for countless individuals. Trisha has been a driving force behind the efforts of the Find the Cause Breast Cancer Research Foundation and a champion for those who need it most, a true advocate for change. In a world often filled with chaos, Trisha has shown us that we can rise above adversity with determination and grace. Let her story serve as a reminder that we have the power to make a difference, that we can overcome obstacles, and that we can contribute to a brighter and healthier future for all. I congratulate you, Trisha and Tom. Thanks so much for all that you do. And I send my love.
Hi, Trish. Alex Clemmer here. Congratulations on this honor. You are so deserving of it. Thank you so much for everything you've done for Find the Cause. Your dedication and hard work has been so appreciated.
Hey Trish, it's Katie Bramley. Congratulations on being honored by Find the Cause. We so celebrate your courageousness and your selflessness in pushing and promoting this amazing mission. We love you.
Hey, my friend, Greta Monahan here. I am sending you the biggest amount of love and congratulations from Paris. I just feel that there is no one more deserving than you. All that you do, you fight and work tirelessly on behalf of all of us and Find the Cause. And from my heart's exploding. Thank you so much for what you do, Trish. No one deserves it more.
The development of our three-dimensional tissue engineered model could not have happened without the support of Find the Cause. Thank you, Find the Cause. Your support, your generosity, your motivation keeps us going, and we couldn't do this without you.
Well, Charlotte said it all. Thank you, Find the Cause. It's inspiring to see how dedicated all of you are and the help you provide us and the motivation you provide us to keep going. Thank you.
Thanks to all the donors. Thanks to the wonderful Find the Cause team. I am speechless, even though I'm speaking. But fund the research, find the cause. That's the motto that I think you should.
Agreed. Fund the research, find the cause. And I just want to thank all of the donors, as well as the people who are in Find the Cause. I've been here long enough to see it grow from just a small seed 10 or 15 years ago to actually an impactful force. And we've got a lot of momentum going forward. And thank you, donors, for all of that.
Congratulations from all of us and for what you have done for Find the Cause. And thank you for joining Find the Cause, supporting the mission, and learning more about the science. The silent auction continues, and there are some great items in there. You've got about another hour to bid, so if you haven't already given, you can always do so right now. To all the Find the Cause sponsors, a heartfelt thank you. You are making a difference. I'm Shayna Seymour. Thank you all once again for your support.